Game week 32 is upon us, and it's going to be a big week for free hit teams, and therefore your quick guide for game week 32 is going to be really helpful in this week in particular. Make sure you stick around for the captaincy discussion and also the top 10 predicted point scorers of the game week. On top of that, for those looking into the few game weeks in the future as well, we'll be taking a look at the upcoming fixture schedule as well, with some of the top teams to target and which players I think are the ones to go for from such teams. Make sure to subscribe if you're new around here, but we'll get straight into things and kick things off with who you should captain this week. So in terms of the captaincy, it comes down to a few main candidates, Liverpool and Arsenal assets, really, Mohamed Salah or either of these two Arsenal players that I've gone for out of the Gunners as my top two picks. You could go with someone like a Jesus, you can't fit everyone in one graphic, and these are my main considerations for the armband this week. Mohamed Salah, I think, is the standout, and as I normally do with my predictions, I think he will be the most captained. I think he'll have the highest effective ownership of any of these three players, really, when we take into account all the free hit teams that are going to be present and active this week. We've got Salah, though, on 6.6 predicted points from the Fantasy Football Fixed Predicted Points tool, and that is behind Gabriel Martinelli, who actually outscores him 6.7 predicted points for the Brazilian, which is very interesting considering I think more people will be captaining Saka or considering captaining him than going for Martinelli, but the algorithm has 6.7 predicted points, the highest of the three. In terms of live ownership, at the moment, Mohamed Salah isn't actually owned by that many, or that higher percentage of active teams, 27% ownership, roughly thereabouts, and so you can see the effective ownership rising significantly this week, I'd say. But I don't think it's going to be too damaging to your rank, even if he does do well. It just depends on how many free hit chips are being activated, basically, because that can definitely boost up that effective ownership, and it is becoming very template. A lot of people having the same strategy, and a lot of people are on the free hit strategy this week. So I can see that ownership rising quite a lot, going beyond Saka and beyond Martinelli's live ownership scores that you can see there. When we can take into account the captain's armbands as well going on him, I think Salah will probably be roughly thereabouts 100% EO this week at least. And you can see why. With the fixture that he's got against Nottingham Forest at home, they've been a pretty weak defence on the road. 1.69 expected goals for them as a team per 90, compared to Southampton's 1.36, who both Martinelli and Saka will be going up against in game week 32. In terms of teams as well, Liverpool actually have a better attacking record as of late than the Gunners do, albeit by a very small margin. Only 0.02 separates the two sides. But it is still going in Liverpool's favour. Now, they scored 6 goals in one game against a pretty poor Leeds defence, granted, but I think they've still looked pretty good attacking-wise. Salah's missed penalties as well, you've got to consider that. And he has got an expected FPL points total per 90 higher than both Saka and Martinelli, which you can see in the final row there of our captain matrix. And interestingly there, Martinelli ahead of Saka again. So the algorithm's got Martinelli down as the top captain pick this week. I think I will be putting my armband on Mohamed Salah. I think that he will still have penalties. I know there's been some debate about that, and Klopp saying we'll discuss things with whether he'll still be taking them. I firmly believe that the Egyptian will still be on penalty duties for Liverpool. Saka's got very strong data at home, which does make me think I'd maybe edge towards him over Martinelli even, considering the fact that all the Arsenal forwards are fit again. Jesus could stay on the pitch and Trossard could come on for Martinelli. We've always considered the fact that he might be a minute's risk when that front four are all fit for Arsenal. Any three of them can be on the pitch, and Saka seems much more nailed for minutes than Martinelli does when that is the case. Of course, he's still got penalties as well, despite missing one at the weekend against West Ham. So those two penalty takers would probably be my top two picks. Mohamed Salah would be taking the armband for me. And yeah, we're going to have a look now at the top 10 predicted point scorers overall. Let's see if anyone can actually better Martinelli's total of 6.7. And the answer to that is no, they can't. Martinelli is first, with Salah second and Saka in third. So the algorithm's still thinking these are the best three captaincy options to take your pickings from. Jesus and Odegaard of Arsenal then follow up in 4th and 5th with 6.1 and 6.0 predicted points respectively for them. We've then got Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson of the Liverpool back line on 5.5 and 5.3 apiece. They still look pretty leaky, and I think that's why a lot of people are considering maybe just going with Trent and not going with Robertson, adding another Liverpool attacking option maybe in the form of someone like a Diogo Jota into your free hit team could be a popular strategy, with the fact that Liverpool haven't been keeping many clean sheets. Tony then on 4.9 is interesting considering, you know, he's not got the strongest fixture on paper in this game week coming. And then Gabriel on 4.9 and James Maddison, who's not really been grabbing any returns lately as Leicester have been struggling in the league. But he did come close. They actually did get quite a number of chances, especially late on in that game against Man City. I know a few of the key players had been brought off, but Maddison did create chances. You could say that he is due to get something, and maybe the game against Wolves in game week 32 could be the opportunity for that. So definitely one to consider for your midfield in a free hit there, James Maddison. I know he might not have the best form rating, and he might not have the most returns in the last couple of game weeks, but the underlying numbers do look pretty positive for him. Moving into the upcoming fixtures then, let's have a look over the next couple of game weeks at which teams have the highest rated fixture set of attacking and defensive fixture difficulty options. And we've got Liverpool highest of both the attacking and defensive fixture difficulty. I already mentioned that their defence has been shipping quite a number of goals, so perhaps you don't want to look too strongly over there if you're looking for a long-term option. But the attacking-wise, they have been looking good. We saw better attacking numbers than Arsenal, even who are top of the table at the moment. So bringing in someone like a Diogo Jota, or maybe even a Cody Gakpo, who you can see on screen there in midfield, could be a nice option as a differential if you already have Salah, or if you don't want to go with Salah, or maybe you can't afford Salah and you feel like taking the kind of slight risk of going without him, I suppose you could say. They've got some nice fixtures over the next couple, so obviously that Nottingham Forest fixture this week, then they go away to West Ham, and after that a double in game week 34, followed up by a home fixture against Brentford in game week 35. And I think that Liverpool could make a really good run in towards the end of the season if they manage to pick up, 8 wins in a row, whatever it is. I think they can still mathematically challenge for the top 4. So you never know if Newcastle slip up, maybe even Manchester United could slip up, but it really is that kind of final of the top 4 spots that is to play for. Maybe Liverpool can, with a lot of grit, fight their way back into contention for Champions League football. Fulham then come in second at the attacking fixture difficulty. They've got nice games against Leeds and also Leicester. In game week 35 looks a standout game for them as well. They've of course also got a double in game week 34, which is going to bring a lot of these teams up the fixture ranking and the matrix in the fixture analyzer. We've then got Leicester in there, who are one team that don't have a double in game week 34, and so James Maddison could be a decent punt for a few weeks. I know more people will probably be considering removing him if they own him right now, but the advice would be to stick with James Maddison. He's got Leeds after this Wolves fixture, who have been shipping a lot of goals lately. He's then got Everton, who are down there in the relegation, really struggling, and then he's got Fulham in game week 35, so it's a really nice run for Leicester, and if there was a standout option up front who was nailed for minutes like an Iheanacho, you could consider them as well. Brighton Hove Albion come in next. They've got the blank this week, of course, but they still make it into this top 5 thanks to their nice fixtures in the 3 game weeks following. They've got Nottingham Forest, then a double in game week 34, and then game week 35, they've got Everton at home as well. And they've been looking really good lately under De Zerbi. He's working wonders in that Brighton side. Definitely hold on to your Brighton assets, bench them this week if you don't have the free hit. If you've got the free hit them out and you'll have them back, no problem. But ideally, keep hold of all your Brighton players because although they might not get any points this week, you're going to get 0 from them. If you have them in your team, they are looking very good for the next couple of games, and we know they've got more double game weeks to come after that. And then finally, Newcastle are also in there attacking-wise. They come in 5th. Tottenham in game week 32 for them is a bit of a tricky fixture, but then we've got Everton, Southampton and Arsenal. In terms of defensive fixture difficulty, we've got West Ham, Bournemouth, Brighton and Fulham coming in alongside Liverpool, who are top of that list. Maybe could go for a West Ham defender, but Bournemouth I probably wouldn't touch. Brighton, we know if you've got the players, keep them as we've just discussed. And Fulham, again, probably not going to be targeting many of the defensive assets from those teams. But yeah, that's going to wrap up Eddie versus the algorithm. Oh, not Eddie versus the algorithm. The quick guide video, I should say, for game week 32. Let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. Hopefully you found it useful. Leave a thumbs up if you did. And I'll see you all tomorrow for when it will be Eddie versus the algorithm. We'll be getting into that. I'm just too excited, you see. Jumping into it, getting ahead of myself. But yeah, I'll catch you in the next one, guys. I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.